Yeah. 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 Yeah.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Dr. Brownsville. And I'm here live with the OG himself, Dr. Bilal Polson. Let's give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
So, Dr. Bilal Polson is the principal of Northern Parkway Elementary School in Uniondale. And he is a beloved leader in our community. And I'm just happy to have him here present with us. So, Dr. Bilal Polson, what's up, man?
Happy to be here with you, Dr. Brown.
Good, good,
I
good.
really love your podcast. I'm honored to be a guest.
Cool, man. So the reason that I'm doing this, and if for those who are watching who don't know, the reason that I'm doing this is because Uniondale is all that. And there's a bunch of dope people in the community, in leadership that have been doing this work for decades. And I just wanted to shine a light on some of those folks and talk about the great things that we do in Uniondale. And this is one of the people that came to mind when I thought about the podcast.
Well, thank you.
So let's start off early.
Okay. Let's go early.
Early life and background.
Yes.
Where'd you grow up?
So I actually grew up in Long Island, Suffolk County, Bay Shore, from birth till about 13 years old, and then I had the pleasure of moving in with my grandparents and my aunt in East New York, Brooklyn.
East
So
New York.
Yeah, so I have the best of both worlds, Doc.
Okay, good, good. How was it in Bayshore? How was school for you? How were you as a student? Because sometimes people see the polished end product. How were you as a student?
So as an early student, I struggled, particularly in early childhood. I had executive functioning issues, which we know now. Back then, they just called me a bad A kid, So I had struggles with a lot of energy. And so I didn't attend to certain discrete details and develop my skills well. And so they thought there was something wrong with me. So yeah, I was a child who had behavioral things going on.
We all did.
Yeah. So yeah, I was one of those kids. It started to turn around for me in intermediate elementary school. So by the time I got to the middle school, I was a honor roll student. And then, I was able to attend the prestigious LaGuardia High School Performing Arts.
Wow, I didn't know that.
That was the reason why I moved to Brooklyn.
Okay.
Because I grew up as a dancer. And that's actually what
didn't know that.
Yeah, that's the thing that shifted my life.
Okay.
So, but yeah, early childhood, I definitely had difficulties. I was one of those kids.
So let's talk about that, because there's kids watching this as well, and some of them are labeled as, the bad kid and all that kind of stuff. How did that feel for you, like growing up in that?
Not good at all. With the stigma, with the language, the attitudes of the teachers, I didn't become fully humanized until much later in my elementary school career, but I was labeled all types of things, and it was not a good feeling. And I didn't love all parts of school, but there were parts of school that I loved, but the classroom was one of them that I did not.
It had to be at least one teacher that saw something in you. Like, who was that teacher for you?
Yes, it was Gene Geyer. It was my phys ed teacher.
Wow.
Right? It was the phys ed teacher that saw it in me. It was the phys ed teacher, and then also it was my principal, Alfred A. Hall, who I love speaking about. And then, my mentor was my first dance teacher, Mary A. Beard, who started the Vanette's Cultural Workshop in Wine Dance. So that's what, it was
I
those
remember
three
we
people.
had a little barbecue and you started hitting some house moves, and I was like, he looked like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I did grow up as a dancer. Spent most of my life training as a dancer, formally and socially.
Okay.
I still
So that's
still
your
love
therapy.
the things. Oh, that's one of my therapies, but yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this middle school. You said you went to middle school in the city and then you went to high school at LaGuardia.
Right. Actually, I went to middle school in Bay Shore, so I was
Okay.
pre-K to 8 in Bay Shore, and then I moved to Brooklyn, and
Okay.
I did my high school all in New York.
In the city.
Yes.
How was LaGuardia?
It was incredible.
Okay.
That was an amazing experience. It's academics half the day and arts the other half of the day. What could be better? And I was among a bunch of creatives, bunch of, famous people, some then and even now.
What's you name drop? I know you don't want to, but you had to go to school with a couple of people at least.
A number of people that you may know. So I would say Dondre Whitfield, who was on Queen Sugar. My man Reno Wilson, who was on Mike and Molly, who's on a lot of things. And I guess the person that everybody would know is all of us was in the same graduating class, but also Jennifer Aniston.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
That's
yeah,
cool. I
that's one
went
of
to
you.
school in the city too. But I didn't go to LaGuardia. I went
Which
to
high school you went to?
graphic arts.
Graphic arts. So that's another prestigious
Yeah.
high school. So what was your craft?
I'm an artist.
You are
draw.
a visual artist. Okay.
Yeah, I was supposed to do like this whole portfolio for Cooper Union,
Oh, Cooper Union.
Parsons,
Uh-huh.
but I wasn't necessarily doing what I was supposed to be. So I got
Cooper Union rings a bell because I went to NYU for undergrad, so I know
yeah,
Cooper Union.
yeah. But growing up specifically as Black men, dance and art,
Right.
there's a stigma there.
Absolute
so I
stigma.
fell for it.
Oh, you fell for
and I
it?
stopped
You
pursuing
went for the
art.
okey doke.
I did, man. I thought, I can't go around talking about how much I love art.
No,
So
yeah,
I
mean,
feel it still bothers me that I didn't pursue that when I had the chance to. So hearing you go and pursue yours is kind of cool.
yeah, absolutely. So I hope, Doc, that you include your artistry in your leadership because
Yeah.
that's how it comes full circle, and that's how we could use it. So we,
Yeah.
there's a thing about us that that we don't lose, particularly when it comes to our leadership and who we are as learners.
Now, if you think about it, and I don't want to tell anybody my secrets, everything that I do
Uh-huh.
is my art.
Aha.
You see?
I see.
So everything, all of my leadership is based on art
I got it.
because this is like my blank canvas.
I see.
So I look at the high school as such, but I won't go into too much
Yeah,
detail.
no. So I love the metaphor that you use for the high school because I have a similar thinking on how I think about schooling and particularly Northern Parkway.
Yeah. So, when did you first start thinking about going into education?
Wow. So that's an interesting thing. So I think subconsciously, when I was in high school as a dancer, one of the things as dancers that you kind of wind up doing is mentoring, being mentored and mentoring. You're always called in to, teach a class or TA a class or support a class. So I had started teaching at a very young age as a teenager. Then I brought that into my undergraduate, but not even thinking, when you teach dance class and things like that or choreograph a piece, I don't think about it in terms of being an instructor, right? Just something I do and I'm given. So I guess innately that was always in me. And it was funny because as a kid growing up, I used to love to throw parties. I used to love to go to parties as a dancer, and I used to love to throw them. So when I attended NYU, I started to, as I was throwing parties, I learned a thing from a mentor that I came across, Sister Souljah, on how to throw a party or a concert for good reason, right? To give back to the community. So it was a number of us who I was interfaced with, and people who are prominent now. Kevin Powell, Ross Baraka, the mayor of Newark. We were all part of her street team, and she mentored us
cool.
on how to throw, benefit hip hop concerts to raise money for good reason. And at that time, we were raising money to send children who had difficulty to summer camp.
So you've always kind of been in service
Absolutely,
to people
absolutely.
through dance, even before you started teaching.
Even before I knew that's what I was doing, because that's what was always given to me. I was always mentored, and I always was acting as a mentor, always given to and always giving, not even having a label for it. It was inherent and it's part of my community.
But so, I always want my teenagers to see this as well. How did you navigate the peer pressure? Because it had to be peer pressure to go in different directions. And I always see people like yourself that are successful. And I think our kids sometimes see you successful and they're like, how did you do it?
So I'll tell you this, particularly when it comes to dance, right? And you talk about stigma. So I flipped it and I always used it to my advantage. So one of the things that I would say that always worked to my advantage was that, as a dancer, as a black male dancer who is straight, always loved girls, always was around girls because of the craft. And because I loved to dance, that was always a social interaction to always break the ice. And so I had a lot of friends, all my buddies, they wanted to rock with me because it's like, gotta mess with Bilal. He's always with the girls. And, as we know traditionally, girls who dance are, usually pretty. So that was the thing. So, so I never had, it was never any ridicule. It was sometimes jealousy, like, man, why does he get two? And I was like, you may want to consider it.
Learn a two-step.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
Get a two-step going, it'll help you.
Something. So it was always an attractive tool. So my peers actually, I got a lot of support. Did they embrace it? They were coming to the dance school to the point where Ms. B is like, you going to look in the window or you coming in here? And if you don't want to dance, you have to, do something else. Help us move the furniture or learn the drums, something like that. So it was actually an awesome rallying call. And to this day,
you build community through it.
Build community, and that's how I became known. So it was never a negative stigma, particularly when you talk about the art piece. I was able to flip it very early, and that was it was a badge of honor, to be honest with you.
Well, back then it was cool because I think now that you're talking, I'm thinking about
you remember
the backup dances for Big Daddy Kane, Scoop and
Scrap. Yeah,
they were like the coolest dude. Being able to dance back in the days,
yes,
you were like the cool person.
And so you got to remember, I went to high school in the '80s. I was in college in the '90s. So that was
when
the
it
era.
Changed a little bit in the late '90s.
So '80s, late '80s, a lot of dancing into '90s, some, and then mid to late '90s. It wasn't so cool to dance. It became more of a subversive thing, but it's always been a part of my life.
What's your dance? What do you specialize in dance? Is it modern, jazz?
Right. So I was fortunate to be trained traditionally and classically in ballet and modern.
Wow.
However,
that is cool.
However, my natural affinity was always what we call jazz. Social dance, and then what we call street jazz, which actually we call hip hop.
Yeah.
So, and as a kid, the type of hip hop dance I always, gravitated to wasn't really breaking or b-boying. It was always like locking, popping and locking, stuff we saw on Soul Train.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. And so, one of the things I'm really proud of in terms of the commercial dance world, I was a part of that generation of what we call street dance, where you morphed traditional jazz with hip hop movement, which you started to see a lot in the videos, where you see some technical dance with, social dancing.
Like this dude, Remember the Time. I remember seeing Michael Jackson's video, and he tried to use
Fatima, and you have Link, and you have Loose Joint, all those brothers.
Those are different
dancers.
Groups? Okay.
Those are dancers. Those are some of the dancers that were in Remember the Time.
Oh, okay.
But that movement in Remember the Time, that's what they call street jazz and hip hop, where it was jazz, dance, and hip hop all morphed into one.
So is this guy that's probably watching? His name is Robert Brace. He was classically trained in ballet. And
Brace.
I think he danced. I think he was in NYU or something like that. Juilliard. I think he went to Juilliard.
Yeah, Juilliard, prominent school.
Really close friend of mine.
Okay.
And he does ballet, but he's a dude.
Right. And he's from Brownsville too?
No. He's from London.
Oh, he's from London.
He act like he's from Brownsville.
I got you. How'd you meet him?
We went to church together.
I love that.
So he was the one that first got me into it, and it was another guy named Paul Dennis.
Paul Dennis, okay.
He's really good, but I feel like I'm trying to name drop on a few people I know.
Right, I got you.
All right, so let's keep going. You got your doctorate.
Yes.
Most people in this profession, you don't have to get your doctorate, but you did it. Why did you go that far?
So it's interesting you say that, because my pathway to teaching and leadership, I don't know how unique it was, but I can't. So it's funny. I actually I was hired in Bayshore as a phys ed teacher because I was one of the few teachers at the time that had my dance license certificate. I was certified as a New York State dance teacher. And Bay Shore, they had a dance department and they incorporated in their phys ed. So that was one of the attractive pieces to me. And then I went to Adelphi for the GATE program to, to really immerse myself in the whole phys ed program. So I started off as the phys ed teacher. And it was I always joke about this. After my first year of teaching, I never forget this. This last day of school, my principal, my assistant principal at the time, cornered me and asked me if I was interested in leadership. And it's after my first year of teaching, and I was like,
Yeah.
"What are you
They
talking
saw it.
about?"
They saw
I
it.
was like, am I coming back next year? That's the conversation we're talking about in terms of me being a teacher. And it's like, no, come in our office and let's talk. And so very early they saw me in this capacity. So they sent me to go meet, peace be upon him, the beloved Dr. Eustace Thompson over at Hofstra at the time. He had just retired from Uniondale. I met him in July, and then I asked him. I said, Dr. Thompson, I just finished my first year teaching. Can I teach another year before I get in the leadership program? So with this, big belly of a laugh that he always had, he says, of course, son, see me next year, but I'm gonna keep my close eyes on you. So because of that and me being a phys ed teacher and new to the craft, you know, even
Wasn't even
leadership
thinking about it.
leadership
Yeah.
wasn't. So I did it because I was asked, and I was like, oh, it'll help me learn. And then after that I started to get the taste of, like, you know what, maybe I can. But if I'm gonna be an administrator as a new phys ed teacher, I'm probably gonna need a doctorate. I really thought that to even be a dean, I was like, there's no way anyone's gonna hire me if I don't have a doctorate. And so oddly enough, sitting in the doctoral program, and she, a retired beloved administrator, and Dr. Andrea Silverstein was sitting right next to me, next to Dr. Kimberly Pierre. Both of them worked in the district. I was in the middle of them, and I used to come to class in my shorts because I was a phys ed teacher, and they said, listen, are you interested in leadership? And Andrea was, teaching art, I believe, at Lawrence at the time. Says, I hear there's an opening in one of our elementary schools. You mind if I give your resume to, Mrs. Dixon at the time? She's Dr. Dixon now, retired in HR. I said, I'm shutting myself ashore. Lo and behold, I booked a gig, and that was at Northern Parkway as the assistant principal.
Wow.
So at that time, I was
It was
already
destiny.
I was already in the
meant, yeah.
doctoral program. So
Okay.
at that point,
So you went from your bachelor's program straight into
no. So at this time, I had already had my bachelor's and finished my master's, and I went right into my
You went straight
leadership.
into it.
Yeah, straight into
Wow.
my leadership. So I had already had a master's degree from years ago. I did my undergrad in movement therapy at New York University, and then right after that, I went to UCLA because I really thought I was going to be a psychoanalyst, and I was going to use movement, as my
platform,
treatment
yeah.
platform. But what happened was the music business sucked me in, because remember, I was throwing parties and concerts. I started writing record reviews for a local rap magazine called Rap Pages back then to make money as a college student.
And you did everything.
And then that led to a career in A&R.
You was an A&R.
Yes, I worked.
Oh, wow.
I worked for.
Yeah, this dude is.
I worked.
He's done
I
a lot
worked
of
for a
different things.
small Japanese company back then called Palace Records.
Wow.
I did that for a year, and then after that, I was granted the opportunity to work as an A&R person for MCA Universal. So I was hired by Hank Shockley of the Bomb Squad and Daddy O from Stetsasonic. And yeah, I know you know Daddy O.
Let me just say something. Let me just say something. This dude never talks like you would not know that he's done all these things. He's super humble, but this is blowing my mind. But go ahead.
So put it this way, I worked in the music business for 11 years before I was in education.
Oh, okay.
So which speaks a lot to my pedagogical perspective, my leadership lens, how I move and how I
The
think.
other day you did something somewhere. It was a presentation on a song, or I saw you somewhere. You was presenting on a song. I think it was with Hofstra. Forgot what it was about. I think it was a song, or like it was a tribute something, and it was a group of people.
Oh,
What
I
was
know what
that?
you're thinking.
Well,
Because presently, it's funny. Presently, I have the honor of working with one of my art teachers, Eric Sumner. We have co-produced an
yes.
exhibit that's
There you
up
go.
at Hofstra Museum now. Jamel Shabazz's "Love
Yes.
is the Message."
That's the guy that takes the pictures
Take
and the
pictures
old school pictures.
in
And yeah, yeah,
Brooklyn,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
primarily downtown Brooklyn.
I
So
saw some photos from
yeah,
it. It
you
looks
have
good.
to, if you haven't gone, you have to go to see that exhibit. It's up until December 19th. So that's what you see. And that's
Yeah.
a musical theme. Love is the Message, classic
That's
record.
cool, man.
Yeah.
That's cool. I think that might be the intro. Love is the message.
There
That
you
might be a
go.
good song.
Yeah, I like it. Let's go.
So why don't we get into you as a principal now?
Sure.
You working with the babies.
Yes.
I haven't been
Pre-K to
around.
5.
I've been with the high school kids for like the last 20 something years, and I got a
Wow.
chance to visit
Right.
your school. That was the
Right.
first time
You've been
I
in the elementary
visited
school.
the young kids. How does it feel working with the babies? It seems like
It's amazing.
you like it.
I love it.
K through 5 is your thing.
What? Pre-K through 5, right?
Pre-K through 5. Okay.
Because I always say the children are the medicine. Like whenever you're feeling down or angry, sad, just go into any of the classrooms and those kids will lift you up immediately. Sometimes just seeing them in the hallway, because they just have inherently so much joy.
Yeah.
And even if they're upset, they're able to flip and switch so quickly. They're so adaptable.
I need to go back and visit.
Yeah, you
I
have
do.
to.
Because honestly, that day felt, because again, I'm working with the older kids all the time.
Right.
And the kids are coming up to me like, hey, how you doing? It, you know,
I
so
told you, the children are the medicine.
I got to go and check you out.
Yeah, yes, you have to.
Also, you know, a question that I have for you is, and this is just a personal question, right? When I first came to the district, you seemed to kind of embrace me and give me some advice and all that kind of stuff. You have this disposition where, one, you're very secure in who you are. And two, you just seem like you're a collaborator by nature. Where does that come from? Because most folks that are established, you got 10,000 degrees and you did all these great things in life, that leads to a lot of arrogance. Specifically for Black men sometimes that are in those spaces, we start forgetting where we came from and our success goes to our head and not our heart. How do you stay grounded? Like, where do you get that authenticity from? What is that about?
Well, thank you for the compliments. I would say absolutely my family. So my parents were older when they had me. I'm the youngest of 5. You know, my dad was from Panama, from Cologne.
Yeah,
right?
he's from Panama, just so y'all know. Ya tú sabes, él es mi hermano, tú sabes. All right, go ahead.
So he was 19 years old and he was already married. So I'm the youngest of 5. My 2 older sisters were married with their own children by the time I got here, right? So, and the coolest thing about my parents, my dad was 44, my mom was 41. They kept it a buck from the beginning, saying, listen, this little dude got a lot of energy, we're gonna need help. So it was village work from the beginning. So I was raised collaboratively. It was nothing for the neighbor. And I mentioned her name before, Mary A. Beard, my dance teacher, to discipline me.
Yeah.
When I was with her, she was my
Yeah.
mother. She was my auntie. She was Thea.
Everybody.
She was, co-moderate.
Let me tell you something.
she was
Everybody
Madrina.
took turns when they needed to. My aunt raised me, my grandmother, my
Absolutely.
uncles. And I think it keeps you humble.
Absolutely. And then I also had a chance to live with my grandparents and my aunt in Brooklyn. So I literally left my parents in Long Island and I went to Brooklyn to be raised by my aunt and my grandpa. So it was that piece. So it was so many parts of it. And then also always having mentors. And I always sought mentorship. And then inherently I became a mentor. So it's always this duality throughout my life. And because I had the pleasure of being in the entertainment business as a young kid, I was, around a lot of people who are celebrities. And I've been around celebrities my whole life. And I have to tell you, it's been the celebrities and people who have the most means, as people say, the richest, the wealthiest. I found them to be the most humblest people ever. Like, it's just salt of the earth, just grounded, just regular.
That's true.
And so I just say, like, listen, if Gregory Hines is this gracious and humble, then
Who am I? Yeah, that's
right?
right.
You know, Richard Gere, you know, if he's just gracious and humble, like
No, that's true. I think for myself,
Carmelo Anthony,
yeah,
just so many people I've been around that are just
no
salt of the
ego.
earth, like
Yeah,
just regular people. So when I find people walking around who are arrogant, pompous, that haven't accomplished much, I don't even get
don't
it.
even make sense.
I'm like, what?
I remember that. I'm telling you, I know you don't realize this, but when you told me in that meeting, just so we're clear, I came to the district and I came in on some Brooklyn energy and I'm going 1,000 miles per hour. And all he said was, what'd you say? Pace yourself.
Oh yes,
So all he said.
it's four
And
quarters, my man.
that and that stuck with me. And that really helped me more than you know. Cause I'm an autodidactic learner. Like once a
right.
person says one thing to me,
Yes.
I go down a rabbit hole.
Okay.
What did he see? What did he notice? What was he trying to say? Why did he say that? Why did he feel like he had to say it to me? So when I went down that rabbit hole, I realized what you were saying.
Yeah.
You coming into a new environment, study the people,
That's right.
learn the culture,
That's right.
stop making snap judgments. And that really helps. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for that. I know you don't like compliments.
So no, so the thing about it is what I meant by that as well is like nobody cares if you score 30 in the first quarter if you lose the game. Like nobody cares.
It's true.
They just want you to win, my man. And if you score 50, that's dope too. But they want the W.
That's true. That's true.
So that's
true.
it. So I said, you know,
So we got to do a couple of rapid fires as we close out. Golden basketball, Michael Jordan or LeBron James?
Michael Jordan, what are you talking about?
All right, cool. Best rapper alive ever. No.
Rakim. Like,
Wait, whoa.
what are we talking about?
Rakim is better than Nas?
There's no Nas without Rakim. There's nothing to talk. Nas will tell you this.
Okay.
Nasir Jones will tell you about Rakim.
Rakim is better.
Rakim is the father of all these dude styles.
Okay.
That's a whole other podcast.
That's a
Rakim,
whole other part. You getting aggressive with me now.
Listen,
Why
I'm
you getting mad?
No, I'm just passionate.
Why you getting aggressive with me?
Nah,
I'm
it's
just playing.
fact.
I know.
Nah,
He's the
I'm
truth.
assertive.
I understand. You're right. You're right.
Changed everything.
You changed everything.
Before Rakim, people was yelling.
You're 100% correct.
Like
Let me get
what?
some couple of questions out. What recharges you outside of work?
Wow. My family, music.
Okay. Favorite book? What book did you read that changed your perspective on everything? Just changed you?
Autobiography of Malcolm X.
100%. Alex Haley. That was. This is too much.
Part of my textual lineage. But another important joint in my life, and this is kind of like when you throw this book out there, you kind of find out who a person is. J.A. Rogers, Superman the Man.
That's nice. That's nice. I'm gonna look it up now.
J.A. Rogers, man to man.
What leadership habit do you wish more school leaders who are listening would follow?
Oh, just being authentic.
Okay.
You have to. So my goal is always to humanize the role, Doc.
Right.
Like we're human. All this cape, I'm a superhero because I'm the principal. No, it's a role.
That's right.
I always say I cannot run the school without the teachers and the faculty and the staff. So all this superhuman, I'm the principal, I'm the boss, that's corny to me. No, it's just another role. It's about humanizing the role. So yeah, I just wish other school leaders realize that, that's just a title. This is not a boss thing. It's about leadership. It's about service. It's about knowing you are the lead learner, lead server.
Cool. If you were to, like, it's kids watching this right now that probably been through the stuff that you've been through, what are some words of encouragement or inspiration that you like to give those students that might be listening that went through some of the challenges you've gone through?
So I would say you're enough, and you know how dope you are. Those things that you really do well, lean into that. And the things that you know that help people, lean into that. The things that make people smile around you, lean into that. Things that make you smile, that you know is good for this world and this planet, lean into that.
Good. Well, listen, I want to give you your flowers. If nobody ever told you, brother, you have saved lives, you have left an impression in a lot of young children's lives for the rest of their lives. And what you do matters more than you know. You'll never understand the rippling effects of what you've done. People they've stopped taking drugs. They've gone back to school. They've been better husbands and fathers because of you. And the work that you do can never be quantified. And I'm grateful. Thank you,
I'm
my
grateful.
brother.
Thank you for having me.
All right, man.
All right.
Have a good one.
Be well.
Let's give him a round of applause, Dr. Polson.